Hey guys, it's Dez.
Hey, and Fox. I didn't know how we were going to start this.
Let's try that again. Hey guys, it's Dez.
Hey, and I'm Fox.
And we are here to talk to you guys about the first streaming event in the
Summer Game Festival.
Summer Game Festival.
Started just like 2 weeks ago by Jeff Keighley and other industry insiders in the gaming world. Basically what it is, if you haven't heard about it, it's essentially the replacement for E3, but not officially the replacement. Basically, it seems like Jeff Keighley went to a bunch of companies and was like, hey, do you guys want to like just be a part of this thing I'm doing?
You know all that stuff you prepped for E3? Yep. Do you want to just show it online?
Yeah, and we'll just call it Summer Game Fest. And they were like, yeah, sounds great.
We do want to do that.
But we're really pumped about it because it's probably going to be a lot of stuff that maybe even more than we would have gotten before.
Yeah.
New demos and stuff. And so we're going to be looking into all of it.
So what we're going to be doing is just kind of coming to you guys each week or each event with our thoughts on it and things like that. Hopefully we'll be having just a little bit of what we're actually talking about right about here.
Sure, there or...
Yep, that's about where I'm going to have it.
Actually, right
about here.
Oh, dang. We got each other on that one.
And we'll be talking about it. But what just happened was the Xbox...
It was Inside Xbox. Do you know anything that we're talking about?
I know all the things we're talking about. I don't remember the names of them.
So Inside Xbox...
The first game was Prometheus. The second game was...
Inside Xbox is basically what Microsoft will put out a video about stuff. It's not the first one they've done.
Yeah, this is like the second or third.
I think it used to be actually a monthly thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't know. Either way, I've never watched one before, but they put one out yesterday. It was
this was the one specifically for Summer Game Fest, to be clear.
May 7th, the day before. We watched it yesterday. It came out yesterday.
Yeah.
And so they showed a bunch of new games that are going to be coming out. They talked a lot about the Xbox Series X, and so I figure we just start from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, I've absolutely right there at the beginning was one of the things that stood out to me more than anything else.
Very important note here.
Yeah.
The head of Xbox Games is called Matt
Booty.
His name is Matt Booty.
Look, we're adults. We're two grown men.
That's a funny last name.
His name is Booty.
His name is Booty. Look, it's been about 24 hours since I've watched this. There's a joke about, so Nintendo has Bowser. Doug Bowser is head of Nintendo of America.
Right.
Obviously, it's funny because Bowser's the bad guy in Mario. But Xbox, one of their few exclusives is the Sea of Thieves.
Oh, and
a
Booty?
pirate game, and there's a joke in there somewhere that I have not been able to come up with.
There's got to be a joke in there
There's
somewhere.
a joke in there.
Yeah.
So please, in the comments below, submit your Booty Sea of Thieves joke. And we'll highlight some of the good ones in the next episode.
Well, for me, it's things like you could, if he is a very nice person, you can say Xbox has a real nice booty.
Xbox has a very nice booty.
Yeah,
okay.
Like if he's not very nice, you can say we need to slap that booty.
I just want to see if Thieves pirate related one.
If he jumps up and down, Xbox is twerking.
Okay, sure. Let's move on. Anyway, it was very important to bring that up, but we got other stuff to talk about.
Yeah, real video game stuff.
Video game. So there was a quote where we're going to be kind of talking about the games, but also there were a couple, as they usually do, like, you know, hardware stuff, and also just like heads of whatever part of the company talking about stuff. And let's see. One thing that jumped out to me, actually, and this kind of showed up in a lot of the gameplay, quote-unquote gameplay, we'll get to that. A lot of the videos they showed us was that it said game and console in development, in-engine footage representative of expected Xbox Series X gameplay, which to me was, okay, like, hey, maybe it'll look like this, we hope.
It's literally them saying, I think this is what it's going to look like.
Yeah, obviously they're not, it's still in development. I get that. I'm not trying to dunk on them because of this. It was just like a funny thing, like, check out this new footage from it. And then at the bottom of it just says, it might look like this.
Yeah.
It's just an ironic twist there.
That was pretty disappointing, especially, I mean, we'll get into this at the end of it, but a lot of it overall was a little bit disappointing. Also, if your expectations weren't high, still fine.
Sure.
Still good.
You got to take all these with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Because it's, at the end of the day, it's just advertising their next product or their next slate of products. And so let's get the right after that Matt Booty talked, right after that Booty spoke. The first game they showed, which I thought was an interesting choice, was called Bright Memory Infinite.
Right.
Which is a sequel to a game called Bright Memory.
I had no idea.
Didn't
what?
know that existed.
Okay.
Yeah. I've never played it. I looked it up on Steam, or I just like Googled it or something, and it was on Steam. I don't know if it's good or not. Doesn't really matter. But Bright Memory Infinite, it had guns and swords.
And you know what? For something like just simple and visceral, it looked real cool. It did look real cool.
Yeah, sure. It looked like a fast-paced first-person shooter in which you also use swords until the very end. There was a legitimate DeLorean shows up.
Yeah.
So that tells
so
me,
weird.
hey, this is a time travel game, and that's why you have guns, and you're also fighting samurai in
Yeah,
Japanese
there was a
setting.
samurai, and he had a shield, and he had a sword, and then you took a shotgun to that shield,
right,
and then you hacked at him with the sword.
It was a fan theory. It was like a game where it's like, hey,
a fanfic.
Some kids were just like, I want guns, but also I'm a ninja. And also, I watched Back to the Future with my grandpa, and I have a DeLorean.
Yeah,
and like it just felt like that. But I actually kind of love that.
It was pretty cool.
I was a little over a lot of the games they showed for being too like self-serious.
Yeah,
and this one had a darker tone, but it felt like when that DeLorean shows up at the end, I was like, all right, it's kind of funny and goofy. Okay, I'll take it.
It ain't taking itself seriously.
Yeah. So I again, it didn't look anything like. It didn't like it was breaking any boundaries.
Yeah, it was not blowing my mind.
No.
And I think that's kind of a theme of what a lot of it was, is it's not blowing my mind, but that looks fun, man. That looks
some of them
cool.
look fun, some of them look like whatever. And so Bright Memory Infinite was one of those, okay, maybe it might be fun.
At the end of it, I remember watching and thinking to myself, if that's what they're kicking off with, I bet this is going to be some good stuff.
Sometimes. Anyway, at the end of the day, here's where I'm coming at with this. I don't like being loyal to a brand. I don't think that's smart. It doesn't do anything but help the brand. Like, you're not... whatever. But I also know that I will be buying a PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Purely because there are exclusive games on the PlayStation systems that I want to play. God of War, Ratchet & Clank, hopefully there's going to be a new one. Things like that I want to play the new ones, and Horizon Zero Dawn 2.
Yeah.
100%. And so for me, watching an Inside Xbox about the games on the next Xbox system was, okay, is any of these worth me buying an Xbox? I had to come at every single one of them was just like, is this a system seller?
In fact, I'm on this point right now where I'm on the precipice of buying an Xbox specifically for Hellblade
2.
And I'm waiting for that extra thing to push me over the edge.
Yeah.
And it hasn't come yet. But
sure,
again, we're getting ahead of ourselves here.
Well, we'll talk about each one. After that, basically they announced the concept of smart delivery.
Right.
That was a big thing that came out that they hit a bunch of times throughout this. And essentially smart delivery seems to be if you buy a game on your Xbox One X that it will also be on the Series X, you'll get it on the Series X for no extra cost. And they kept saying at the best version of it.
Yeah.
So if there's like a remaster or if there's like I assume that's what that means. They didn't go into a lot of detail about it. And so essentially it came off as a glorified, like slightly better for sure, but backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
You can buy a game now and you'll still be able to play it on the next one. What does sell that and make it a little better is that it'll be the better version. Because you could play, if the PS4 is backwards compatible, you could play Last of Us on it, but it would be the PS3 version of Last of Us, or you can get the remastered version of The Last of Us on the PS4, and it just looks better.
Yeah.
And so there's a difference there. If I could play the remastered version without buying it again, then that's a definite.
Yeah, that's absolutely
that's a good selling point.
It really is. It really is.
So I did appreciate that, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
They went into a bunch of games after that. I've got a list of, so I'm looking off screen over here. Got a bunch of list of games and stuff. The next one was Dirt 5. Tell me, what did you think about Dirt 5?
Dirt 5.
They've got the fifth version of
the racing one,
Dirt.
right?
Yeah, that's
the one with the cars,
off-road racing
right?
series. Yeah, it's actually pretty beloved. People love Dirt.
Right, but to me,
a lot of things grow in it.
Here's what I'll say: it's going to be very much like another game we're going to talk about later, but it's a game that's very beloved and has a lot of fans. That is 0% in my wheelhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's 0% in my wheelhouse, I cannot notice any of the new cool things or any of the stuff they're advertising about. I look at it and I'm like, Sure, man.
Yeah, it's not our genre. Neither of us play
not
racing games. I haven't played a racing game in a very long time. What stuck out to me though was that talking about Dirt 5, and I think this might have either been at the end they had somebody come on and talk about like, hey, here's some more stuff about Dirt 5. And they revealed that they have both Nolan North and Troy Baker doing voices on Dirt 5. Which,
for who?
Is there a story? Is there an actual plot? Because actually, I might be more interested now.
Yeah, wait, what? Hold on.
Wait a minute. There's a story to this racing game. That's kind of cool.
If you guys don't know, Troy Baker and Nolan North are two of the most prolific voice actors.
They are they're the Adam Driver and the Scarlett Johansson of the video game voice acting world. Like, you want them in your movie, in your game.
Yes.
So they are both in Uncharted 4. They they basically look them up. They're in every game you've ever played.
Yeah.
But anyway, so is there a story? And if so, what's the story about?
Yeah.
And if there's not a story, is it just them doing like, woo, driving noises?
Are there going to be like your spotter that's there that's like, hey, there's a guy coming up on your left. You better look out for him. Like, and at that point, why do you get
Why
Nolan
are you
North
spending
for
so
that?
much money on those guys?
Yeah,
like,
it's weird.
Look, voice acting is an art. I'm not saying that you just want to like do whatever. Like, just don't worry about it. But also, seems like a lot of money going to something that
absolutely
unless there's a legit story where they get to be acting a role. Anyway, so that's Dirt 5. That's all we got.
Yeah, it's sure, man. Dirt 5.
The next one was very interesting to me. Scorn.
Yes, that's the one. Scorn looks like Prometheus to me.
Oh, okay.
The Alien prequel.
And here's why. Well, I'm assuming that it's H.R. Geiger inspired.
Ah, okay.
H.R. Geiger, whatever, however you want to say it. The guy who basically
Google.
H.R. Google. He invented Google and also Alien.
H&R Block.
No, he's basically a sci-fi artist. I might have been an author also, but anyway, he created the design of the alien, the xenomorph from Alien. If you've ever seen the movie Species, he created the weird monster from that. I saw that randomly.
If you haven't, you're okay.
Yeah, it's a bad movie. But he is a weird like gothic futurist kind of artist. He has a very specific style to him, and this whole trailer, which just seemed like a cutscene or something, just kind of showing, hey, here's kind of really all it felt like was, hey, here's an art style for a game, because there was nothing in it that.
It was very weird.
It was very strange. It was very sexual, but also gross.
Yeah, it was definitely sexual, maybe, I guess, gothic futurist erotic would be a good way to put that.
Yes, there's very sexual imagery, but not in a way that's like, if your mom walks in, she's not going to be... she's just going to be weirded out by what...
Let's be clear, we're not saying like it was kinky and
no,
weird,
no,
whatever,
it was...
But there was a focus on sex in it.
Yes.
Very clearly.
Sexual organs, but like weird alien... It's just, which if you watch Alien, that's present there also. Yeah. Anyway, I was disappointed by this because I was like, oh, that's kind of an interesting way to go with it. But also, what is this? And that was kind of a recurring theme for me was... They advertised this as gameplay footage, and there was very little gameplay in almost
technically none. If you want to get literal, there was none.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing, is that technically it could have been gameplay, but there is a big difference between showing in-engine footage that's been edited and stylized and showing somebody playing your game.
Right.
Like, there was none of it was somebody like playing the game with the HUD and everything.
Absolutely.
Because that's a much different experience than just showing that's technically rendered in engine.
These days, there is a difference between in-game footage versus gameplay.
Right.
And there was in-game footage shown. I did not see any gameplay.
I don't remember any gameplay. Nothing that stuck out to me as, oh, that's somebody playing the game. And so that was really disappointing because they literally advertised it as gameplay. And so... Okay, you lied to us. And also, I don't care if it's Assassin's Creed, and I know what Assassin's Creed is. If you don't show me how the game works, then I'm not super interested yet.
Well, and then Scorn specifically was a setting. And I'll say this. It was an interesting setting.
It was establishing a tone.
Yeah, 100%. They had this little guy that was like, inside. He looked like MODOK from Marvel.
Yep.
And it was crazy and whatnot. And the whole thing looked real weird, but it was just a setting. It was not a game to me. It was weird.
Let's see. Next one. Let's move on. It's Chorus. Chorus was the sci-fi.
That's how you say that.
It was a weirdly. I had to take a sec. I think I paused it to like, what does that say? There's a game called Chorus, which it actually did show what seemed to be like gameplay.
Yeah.
Without any HUD or anything, which doesn't
That's right.
give you the same experience.
It's in-game footage.
In-game footage,
gameplay.
even though it was technically somebody like actual what you would see. Anyway, and it was space sci-fi combat kind of thing. It looked like hey, people want a new Star Fox.
Yeah.
But Nintendo's not doing that, so we'll do it kind of thing.
I mean, I have in my notes here, looks good. That's it.
Sure.
Like, looks good, man.
It had a lady who was apparently important. There was like some
it was
very
cool looking. It was kind of dark, almost Killzone-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
definitely more adult tone.
Yeah.
Than Star Fox. Don't take my comparison to Star Fox as a tonal comparison.
Right.
More of a gameplay comparison.
But specifically, this one definitely had like a dark red and black Killzone type theme to it.
Sure.
And it was
space.
Looked cool, man.
Space combat.
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah, nothing amazing.
But it wasn't jumping out at me.
Now the next one, very important for both of us. We were really into it. Madden 21. Who you got on your team? Who you drafting?
My note.
Okay, what's it say?
Man, when Football Guy came out and talked about the footballs, I was real into it. Madden, am I right? Now let's drink some White Claw or something.
Man, here's the thing. They went through kind of like the history of Madden.
Which is interesting.
From the very beginning, it showed little pixels and like, just kind of where the graphically went. And obviously they're trying to push the hardware of the Series X. That's what Microsoft's about right now. But to me, that screamed, hey, Madden's always usually just like a roster update. So let's try to show how different it is from what it used to be, to try to like, hey, look, it's different. It's different, guys. Get it. Instead of just a digital
They had a
update.
Quarterback of a team that I definitely remember come on, and
he was on the Chiefs.
Oh yeah,
I remember because I lived in Missouri, so
there you go. So
I don't know his name.
He was a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and he came and talked about Madden for a bit. It poked my nostalgia because I actually was really into Madden, circa Madden 92. I played a lot of Madden 92, and
sure.
It poked some nostalgia there, but not for the game, just for childhood.
Yep.
Other than that, again, just like Dirt, this is not my genre.
That's the same thing. We're not into sports games.
If you are, and this looked great to you, cool, man. And
sure,
again,
appreciate
it's showing right here, and so hopefully you guys really enjoyed that. Thought it was really cool.
Right.
For us, though, it was a dull moment for me.
I was just like, okay, let's get on with this.
Yeah.
What's the next game I actually want to play? After that, somebody, I don't know her actual title, what her deal was. Oh, Sarah Bond. I remember this now. Name was Sarah Bond, and she was the
Sarah Bond.
Yeah, right. She was a 008. No, she was the head of like partnerships between like companies like Microsoft and like studios and stuff, I assume. And I found that funny because her name is Bond and she's over partnerships. So
there's a bond there.
They got booty for the
connection.
Sea of Thieves. they really just hire you if your last name makes sense.
Yeah. There you go.
Anyway, what she said interesting to me was every major publisher worldwide is developing for Xbox.
Yeah, I have that written down here
as well as hundreds of games coming to Series X in 2021. Hundreds.
I have every major developer worldwide is developing for the Xbox. Take that, Naughty Dog.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They're apparently not a major developer.
There's a few major developers who are actively not
developing for the Series X.
Yeah, not many, but a few.
Yes.
For sure. Nintendo, I don't think will be. Anyway,
it was a bold statement. It was a really bold statement.
It was a nothing statement to me.
Really,
who cares? I don't care.
What she's trying to get at, and I think this is a good thing, is she's saying, hey, in the past, Xbox has been marked for its lack of software.
Yeah.
That won't be a thing anymore. They don't want to admit that. They're not going to say, sure, we have a lack of software. But this is Xbox's way of saying, we in the past have had a lack of software. We recognize that. That's not the case anymore. We want to let you know we're having more. And I really liked that.
Sure.
That's something that piqued my interest because, again, I'm looking for a reason to be pushed over the edge for a Series X. I really am.
We have to remember, though, that the vast majority of those major developers are developing a game that will come out on the Xbox,
right.
but also the PlayStation and also on PC.
Yeah, probably third-party stuff.
They are developing for the Xbox specifically so that it can be played on there, of course. but they're, they don't have hundreds of people just making exclusives. In fact, not once throughout this entire thing did they mention anything exclusive.
Yep.
And to me, that was a major downfall.
Yes.
Like, that's what's going to sell your system. I'm sorry, but I'm not a proponent of exclusives, but it is the major factor in the system that I purchase. And right now, PlayStation has me.
Yep. I wholeheartedly agree with that. Yes.
Yeah. So then we moved on to a bunch of more games in a row. The next one was Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2.
It did not look good, guys.
It looked like what I expected to look like.
To me, well, just as far as the visuals and the, again, graphical fidelity, I guess, of it, to me it looked like what you'd expect from a standard AAA game now.
Sure.
Not even a good, polished AAA game now. Just your regular run-of-the-mill.
To be fair, all these are still in works and development.
But if this is going to be your no gameplay trailer that you're showing to people, polish the crap out of that thing, man. Make it look incredible. To me, this was the one...
As long as it's an accurate representation of what you're going to play.
Right, obviously. To me, this is the one that was by far the least impressive. I know that the Vampire Masquerade games are hugely popular.
Yeah.
Beloved, great history to them. I've never played any of them, but I'm sure there are people out there that are excited just to have another game. And that's cool. I'm glad that you're getting another one. But if this is your next gen showcase, if you're trying to say, check out what's coming to the Series X,
right,
this did not impress me. Also, it was a little like sadist and weird. Definitely serial murder.
So my comparison that I wrote down here was it looks like a Gothic Outer Worlds. It looks like a Obsidian style RPG where it's a lot of like dialogue heavy kind of relationships.
Right.
Obviously combat and all that. But also I was like, am I going to enjoy... It seems like I'm the bad guy.
Yes.
Which you can play an interesting game if you're the bad guy. But if I'm just a vampire killing people...
Yeah.
I don't know anything about the vampire games. So, look, it just... To me, I was like, am I going to enjoy playing this?
Right. Again, if you are somebody who loves the Vampire Masquerade games and you are excited about this, I'm not blaming you for it. But I will say, from an outsider's perspective, this was not an attractive showing to me.
To me, it was okay. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't interesting.
Yeah.
The next one was Call of the Sea.
And that flopped it for me right there, because this looked good to me, man.
Really?
It was very indie game-esque. You know what I mean? Like, it's got definitely, like, this mystery to it and this, like, real simple aesthetic to it and whatnot. Like, to me, this was...
When you say flopped it, sorry to interrupt, but when you say, does that mean I'm going to buy an Xbox Series X to play this?
No.
Okay, thank you.
I'm saying it went from, I am not impressed at all.
I see.
Immediately to the other side of, now I am happy, this is good.
Because that game will also be on the PC.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's fine.
And maybe every other console.
Right.
It looks like a Nintendo game that should be on the Nintendo, but
this was one that just had that very indie aesthetic and mystery that really is in my alley, in the exact same way that I'm saying that I don't get those other games, Maddens and Dirts and Vampire Masquerades.
Yeah.
I get that other people don't get my interest in these types of games, but I love them.
That'd be one I'd probably only be interested in playing if it was both of us playing it together.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I appreciate the indie, but
Which reminds me, there are games that I want to play together that are good indie games.
Oh, sure.
That's a literally entire side note. So,
the next one after that was The Ascent.
Heck yes.
This one I was like...
This looked real good, guys.
After seeing all of it, it was probably in the top 3 for me.
Yes.
It was a dungeon crawler, but like a cyberpunk...
Cyberpunk is in.
Cyberpunk's in right now.
And I'm here for it,
and
man.
I don't know if it's smart for companies to be making cyberpunk games right now.
But if it's to me, if this was a first-person or even third-person RPG for Cyberpunk, then... yes, that would be dangerous. But this is a top-down
It's a completely different genre.
Entirely different genre in a similar setting. And so it can kind of ride on the coattails of Cyberpunk 2077. Yeah, it's good enough for you to link it with this very good and incredible thing, but different enough for you to say, I want that too.
Right, that's for sure. I didn't really put it in that. But yeah, this looked cool to me.
Yeah.
I like dungeon crawlers. Like, this is one that I want to play.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, won't be exclusive, so I'll probably play it, but don't...
It also looks like it could and should support couch co-op. Like, it wouldn't be a hard thing to have couch co-op.
That would be a big sell.
Man, yeah. I if it is for sure on either PC or PS4, and it is couch co-op, I can almost guarantee you that we'll be playing it.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, I like the style of it. Next one was The Medium.
Man, this was one that was really interesting to me, but what definitely sold it for me was Akira Yamaoka, the Japanese composer.
The composer for
Silent Hill. I love him.
Sure.
I have the Silent Hill 2 and 3 soundtrack. I think were the two main ones that were most popular.
They said that they were very especially influenced by 2.
Yeah,
toward the end.
And they're incredible atmospheric music and also industrial, and also again, it's to call it music is different.
It's not giving you the whole picture of what it is.
Yeah, again, it's almost just atmosphere. That he is not making music, he is creating atmosphere,
right? And
he's phenomenal at it. And anytime I hear that he's going to be doing the score for a game, I am immediately more interested in the game.
Here's the thing, I'm not a horror guy. I don't play a lot of horror games. Right. I like the art of horror, but even the ones I have played on the other, I don't play them not because I think they're always bad, but because personally that's just a decision I make. But the horror games that I've played recently, specifically I'm thinking of Outlast. I was pretty disappointed by it.
To me, this reminded me more of The Evil Within, where it was a game that looked like there was going to be horror aspect to it, but also mystery to it.
Sure.
Where you, the player yourself, don't quite know what's going on. You're almost experiencing it through somebody else who's experiencing it through somebody else, because you are the player playing somebody else who is a medium for something else. But
sure.
The levels of confusion add to the mystery, I feel like, sometimes.
Yeah.
And so I watched a playthrough of The Evil Within, and I really enjoyed it. It was a really good, interesting game. And I feel like Medium could have that same style to it, where you are kind of confused the whole time as the player, and then as the game progresses, all these jigsaw pieces start falling in. Again, I am just wildly guessing here on what the game is actually going to be like.
Again, they didn't tell us anything really about what the game is like.
Yeah.
They just kind of showed us, hey, it's about spooky stuff, and we have this composer.
Yeah.
Cool. The problem with horror is that it needs to be a short experience, I think, to be really effective. Unless your story is genuinely interesting and you want to know what happens next, horror doesn't last. Like, that feeling of dread has to change, or it has to be short to be effective.
And video games need to do that in a changing way. Otherwise, you get used to it.
Yes.
And it's not scary anymore.
And it's not scary anymore.
Yeah.
You can start to see the cracks and see the systems and how they work.
The best genuine horror game that I played in recent memory was an indie game called Pamali. And it was an Indonesian horror game. And it was great because it was actually 5 vignettes of stories.
Yeah.
And each one was a genuine Indonesian scary folktale. Yeah, scary folktale. And so because each one was unique, it was just a little bit unique of a story, a little bit unique of a scare every time. It was 100% atmospheric scares, to the point that I got through 1.5 and I turned it off and I couldn't play anymore.
Yeah,
I was
you were
dang
done.
it, nope, I'm done with this game, man.
So
I freaked out and I'm like, I'm done. But it was because it was so unique every time, and things changed, and you could actually, depending on how you played each playthrough, this isn't about Pamali. Go play Pamali. It's very good. The point being, horror needs to change for it to stay scary.
Right. And so they got it's a difficult undertaking to make a good horror game.
Yes.
The next game was called Scarlet Nexus.
Code Vein 2 looks real different, guys. That's weird.
See, the connection that I made was not to Code Vein, although I did think of Code Vein. There was a game on the Switch that was an exclusive.
Well, this is Bandai Namco again. So if you,
yeah.
So it's a Bandai Namco game that's very stylized art and super anime looking, with combat that looks pretty bombastic and crazy. And my lie, it looked fun. It wasn't huge to me, but it looked fun. It did.
The game that jumped out to me was Astral Chain.
Oh yeah,
it was a fairly popular Nintendo Switch exclusive from last year. Had the anime style, but also the hack and slash kind of fast-paced combat. And I'll tell you, this one looked pretty interesting to me.
It did. Yeah, it looked interesting. It looked fun. And when I say Code Vein 2 looks different, that's a compliment. Yeah. I love Code Vein. It's a fun game. I'm not playing it right now because I'm playing the 7 remake, but when I get back to it, I'm stoked to get back to it.
Right.
It's going to be really great, and it's a great game. So this looks a lot like Code Vein, and that's a genuine compliment to it.
Oh, I also like the creature design.
Yes.
It felt like weird biological creatures mixed with random everyday objects kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that. I thought it was cool. After that was Second Extinction.
Look, great. Where is Dino Crisis Remake? That's all I want to know.
Yeah, where's a modern day Turok dinosaur hunter?
I mean, this is kind of that, but Dino Crisis was zombie horror dinosaurs.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Why have we never remade this game?
This was just multiplayer. I mean, Velociraptor hunting. That's really all it showed.
I'll say it looks cool. It looks cool. To me, it reminded me more of a Monster Hunter style type thing where you look like you have a group of people that are running out and fighting these really big beasts.
But what they showed was just a bunch of like herds of velociraptors. To me, it looked like something I would get old very fast.
They have to be smart enough to change it
At the very end, they showed like a brief glimpse of like a T-Rex or something.
Yeah.
But the actual gameplay they showed was people shooting velociraptors with guns, which, hey, is fun. But for how long,
Right.
And I can only go off what I've seen.
And I'll say the Monster Hunter comparison is it looked like you're fighting big monsters.
Right. And that's it. Because Monster Hunter is super in-depth. Monster Hunter is very niche.
This, again, as you can see, is just a shooter with dinosaurs in it, which, again, is cool. That's surprisingly something that's not done a lot, where zombies is redone over and over and over again.
Right. You do have, what's that one MMO?
Ark.
Yeah. Thank you.
But other than that, there's not much of the dinosaur genre out there right now. And
it's going to make a comeback.
I think it could be cool. Yeah.
The next one, Yakuza, Like a Dragon. Yes.
My literal note on is, this is all the right kinds of stupid.
That defines the Yakuza series. I have only played Yakuza 0, and I've only played 5 or 6 hours of it. So I am not an expert, but those 5 or 6 hours were interesting, to say the least. The
weird
tone of that game and the whole series, from what I can tell, switches back and forth from super goofy to extremely serious.
Absolutely real.
On a split second. And this one seemed like actually a little more goofy. He has like that magical baseball bat thing or whatever it was. But it seemed like the next Yakuza game, and people love it. It kind of seems to me, so Microsoft does not do well in Japan.
No.
They don't sell them there. They don't sell the Xbox in Japan. And so it kind of seemed like, hey, this is clearly it's obviously a Japanese game from a Japanese developer. Gonna still try to get that
Japan
part of the market.
Our stuff, yeah.
But also it's not going to be an exclusive. And it's historically been a PlayStation series.
Right.
Only in the recent couple have they been, maybe even only the last one, Yakuza 6, Song of Life.
Sure.
I don't know. I think they've been usually Sony exclusives, so I don't think this is really the one that's gonna, get that market. But looked fun, looked interesting.
Yeah, it looked like another Yakuza.
I have a dream of playing through the entire series, but they are long, in-depth games, and so it might not ever happen.
you would play 1.5 and hate it and be so
I would get really
done.
tired of it for sure. I'll give you that one. So the last game they showed, which is the one they advertised the entire time, was Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yep.
Which, so that was their big like enticement. Come see actual gameplay from Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It's coming up. They didn't show any gameplay.
I mean, again, some of it might have been in-game footage. Some of it might have been things you see while playing
you
the
actually
game.
do, or maybe just like kind of stylized. It doesn't look this way.
Unless the game is going to be real weird and hard to play.
Yeah,
that's not what it's going to look
camera
like.
angles and so that was extremely disappointing.
It was.
Other than that, like I got nothing from it.
I mean, it looks good. Assassin's Creed Valhalla looks real good. Yeah,
and
but
I like
Assassin's Creed always look real good. They do a great job. Ubisoft, good job, guys. You make good video games, and this looks like it's going to be another good video game.
Sure.
But that's it. And I don't know why Xbox is touting this so heavily. I don't know why they're the ones. I mean,
it's a popular game.
Yeah, I guess. But if I were Xbox right now, they mentioned Halo Infinite is coming. If you had shown anything about Halo Infinite, if it were art, if it were concept art of Halo Infinite, people would have been all about it.
The only thing people would have talked about.
Yeah. If you were just saying like, hey, at the end of this, we're going to show you some still drawings of our concepts.
Here's Master Chief. He's 8 feet tall now.
And that's it.
You're welcome.
that people would have loved it.
People would have loved it.
And
some people would have hated it. Some people would have loved it, and everybody would talk about it.
And guess what? That's the only thing, or that's something that only Microsoft could provide.
Right.
But Assassin's Creed Valhalla is coming out to everything.
Right.
And it looks good, but it looks like what we expected. And you didn't even have gameplay of it.
Yeah.
This was a disappointing end to all.
It's very disappointing. Two little things that I liked. You had a crow instead of an eagle. Just thematically makes sense. Yep. Odin has pet crows. Hugin and Mugen. If I'm probably saying them very poorly, but anyway,
it's hugging that muggin.
But also, the other thing was like vampire.
Touch for
like nope, stop. Like vampire. Am I gonna have fun invading England? The Vikings historically were not good
horrific
people.
Human beings.
They literally, you could say they did two things: rape and pillage. Do I want to do that?
They were the Norse people. The word Viking just means raider.
Yeah.
Like they're literally the people that raid villages.
Right.
That's it. When you say you're a Viking, all that means is you're the one who invades villages and ruins everything.
Yeah. So you're gonna have to give me a real good personal story that shows me I'm not actually part of the raiders. Like, am I going to be fighting the Vikings also because they're actually bad people? Or, like, it just seems like I like the setting, but also am I going to feel like somebody who's doing good?
Odyssey kind of did something like that where the Spartans, by the way, which historically were horrible human beings.
Sure, Super Mario Odyssey had a lot of Spartans in it.
But you come in as somebody who's kind of infiltrating the Spartans to get to a leader of the Spartans. You didn't have real
any allegiance.
Yeah.
You could flip between the Spartans and the Athenians.
Yeah,
and you just served your own purpose, which is what probably should be happening here.
Yes.
Don't just make me a bloodthirsty destroyer of lives, because that's not fun most of the time. Unless it's in real life. So yeah. After that, they kind of just went into some in-depth interviews with people for specific games.
I actually stopped there. I didn't watch the rest of it.
Okay, I watched those. They weren't really interesting, unless you liked Dirt 5. That's going to be more interesting for you. But for me, it wasn't really. One big thing, like, they've been really hammering down, hey, this is going to be a crazy jump in hardware and teraflops and whatever. I don't care about that, but the one thing that I did realize that they mentioned a couple times was, hey, faster loading screens means better immersion. And I was just like, actually, that's a good point. Hardware, I don't care. Like, if you don't got good software, I'm not going to buy your system. I don't care how photorealistic your games get, but the idea that a faster load time means there have been several games I can name, Prey and Control, that if it had shorter loading times, I would have enjoyed it much more.
I feel that way about Final Fantasy right now.
Yeah, sure. A little bit. Yeah. So I appreciated that little note that they made. Other than that, don't care. And overall, thoughts on the whole thing?
Overall, it was disappointing.
Yeah.
I was talking to some of my friends online about this, and essentially we're all saying we want to be hyped. We are ready to be hyped, and they're just not providing that hype yet. Sure. I was talking to Fox recently, and I said either Sony is in one of two places right now. Either A, they are worried, and they are not as good as the Series X, and they don't have as good of a system, and they're trying to figure out an angle to build hype and to fix some problems. Or B, they have something better, and they're waiting to blow our minds.
They're either panicking or just sitting back and saying, all right, gonna win another round.
But right now, they're not competing.
Right.
Nobody, I don't care about the PS5 right now, and I'm typically a Sony guy. But the PS5 is nothing to me right now because we have nothing.
That's what I'll say. My hype for it is speculation.
Yeah,
I assume that I'll be able to play God of War 2. I assume that I'll be able to play Horizon 2. I assume and so, but right now I don't know if that's going to happen.
Right.
So,
for all we know, the PS5 is going to say it's a log. That's it. So, anyways, that was the Xbox One, or the
Inside
Xbox presentation. Let us know your guys' thoughts on it and what you felt about the whole thing.
Yeah.
And we'll be back with another video like this for the next presentation.
Yeah, something coming out next week called Sunrise, which I don't know what that is, but we'll check it out and we'll come back.
All right, we'll see you guys then. Bye.
Bye.